Hey guys, welcome to this TFL buddy review of the LX570, and I've got my son and buddy Tommy with me this time.
It's good to see you guys.
Yeah, Tommy, so let's get the the bad stuff out of the way first. This Lexus gets a bad rap for basically two reasons. First and foremost, people say, why would you spend how much? How much is this bad boy?
$97,195.
When you can spend considerably less, more like $80,000 for a Toyota Land Cruiser.
Yeah, which this vehicle is based on.
Yeah, it's basically a Land Cruiser. So the chassis, the engine, all this off-road stuff is
very similar to a Land Cruiser.
Yeah, except of course this has the Lexus badge. It even has those kind of funky top-down seats, right, that are on the side of the truck, not on the not as the third row.
Right, so this is a full-size SUV, body on frame, V8 engine up front that would compete with something like a Range Rover, the Escalade, a very premium vehicle.
Yeah, and I just reviewed the Land Cruiser version of this, and if you want to watch that review, click up here. And Tommy, I didn't like the styling of that vehicle.
Okay.
I felt it was not stylish enough, not modern enough. I felt it was a little bit stodgy. And this styling is also very polarizing. Of course, this truck has that big spindle Lexus grille,
right,
which some people find obnoxious. I kind of like it. I actually think the styling on this truck works. It's very boxy, it's very square, and for me, it's very masculine, and I like it a lot.
You know, in my opinion, I'm gonna kind of take a different approach on that. This is inherently just kind of a big cube, and they've really done a lot to try and style that big cube, but I think at the end of the day, they should just embrace the fact that this is a big, rugged SUV. And I think there's a lot going on that doesn't necessarily work together. It's just not really a cohesive design in my mind.
Oh, you think there's like too many lines intersecting?
Right. Yeah, like the front is really complicated. It's really in your face. The back doesn't really have that same vibe. It's just a lot going on. And they're really trying hard to add some style to this large SUV. But I think they should just really embrace the fact that, you know, it's not very aerodynamic. It's not very curvaceous, but that's okay, and I think they should embrace that.
All right, well, let's go to the other issue that people have with this, and that is, of course, that this has a lot of off-road goodies, right? The Land Cruiser is one of the most off-road worthy vehicles that you can buy,
right.
And this has all that. So it has air suspension, it has crawl control, it has a lockable, low range, a lockable center differential. It's got a lot of off-road goodies, but at the same time, it also has 20-inch wheels, not a great approach or departure angle. Let's face it, nobody's going to take this $97,000 vehicle off-road, so why do you need all this? That's the other rub.
Well, what's kind of interesting about that, though, is the Range Rover is a very similar situation. I mean, that vehicle could be had with 22-inch rims,
yep,
and yet it still has all of the same off-road goodies that you've come to expect in a Range Rover. So it's kind of a similar deal going on here, and I appreciate that they're here, although I do agree I don't necessarily think you need them.
Yeah, there's a lot of buttons down here. I like this little button that lets me turn on a dime, supposedly. We'll have to try that out.
It's called Turn Assist, and basically if you are in an off-road situation where you need to make a tighter corner to, you know, clear some trees, you push this little button and it will brake the inside wheel to help you make it around that corner.
Yeah, let's try that out.
Sure.
Hey Tommy, you want to try out this Turn Assist in this trailhead parking lot?
Yeah.
All right, tell you what, you're outside, I'm inside. First time I'll make this turn, I'll do it from the exact same place as I did this time around, and you stand on the outside of the turn after I make it, and then I'll come back here, push the button, and I'll try to see if I can turn closer and, you know, drive on the inside of you.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
All right, here I go. This time, no turn assist. I'm just going to turn the wheel full lock, put it in drive, and see how tight of a turn I can make. Well, that's a pretty wide turn.
Okay, keep going.
All right.
Stop there.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna stand right here at the front wheel.
Yeah. I'm gonna run you over. You should do it on the outside. Yeah, right there. Okay. All right. You stand there. You stand there. I'm gonna try it again with the turn assist on. You good? Okay, let me line myself up to where I was before. Luckily, I'm in dirt, so I can see my tire tracks. I can line it up to exactly where I was at before. Okay, I believe I was right there. Are my tire tracks lined up? Okay, a little bit tighter. Okay. Straight. All right, now I'm going to activate turn assist.
So you can see that inside wheel braking. Wow, look at that. Here's the mark. You can see the previous wheel tread. This is where I was standing. Yeah, it is narrower.
And I didn't hit Tommy. That's good. All right, how many feet do you think we got out of that as a tighter turning circle?
I would probably say 2, maybe 3 here.
Yeah, so it works. Once you figure out, of course, how to make the magic happen. There you go. Today it's kind of, well, it's kind of a typical spring day in Colorado. The weather's pretty crappy, and all this stuff is going to make it much more secure if it indeed starts snowing like it's starting to do. And so you feel confident, like if there were a zombie apocalypse, that you would have all the off-road goodies to take it off-road, even though realistically this is going to go down Hollywood Boulevard more than it's going to go down.
But to some extent, I think that's
Trail.
a fake sense of confidence.
Why?
Well, because yeah, we do have a low range, which is great. We have crawl control, but crawl control is only going to get you so far if you get hung up on these side steps.
Yeah, that's
the low range is only going to get you so far if you can't make it up the obstacle up front. We have all-season tires.
But sometimes just the potential to do something is more important than the actual ability to do it.
But I don't think this vehicle has the potential, because this says one thing, but the actual structural dynamics and design say another thing.
Well, I think it probably has the potential, and I also think that the people who buy it think it has the potential.
Which is probably more important.
Which is more important, exactly. So I think that makes it a vehicle that is ideal for someone who is looking for status, not necessarily off-road ability.
Yeah, one thing I will say though, it is very quiet in here.
Yes, it's very quiet. One thing I will say though is it doesn't need paddle shifters.
No, it does not.
So this is basically based on a Land Cruiser, which is basically based on a truck. So what's the engine? I know it's a 5.7. It should be the same engine in the Tundra, right?
So it's the 5.7 V8, 383 horsepower, 403 pound-feet of torque. Unlike the Tundra though, we do a full-time four-wheel drive.
Yeah, that's nice. And then of course we have a very selectable eco mode here, a normal, custom mode, or a sport mode. Yeah, we have a sport mode.
See, that's a little bit bold for a body-on-frame SUV.
Yeah, dude, you can lower the suspension.
Yeah, we do have air suspension. That's cool. Yeah. The ride is very good.
Yeah, the ride is
very good.
The ride is exceptional. It does feel heavy. That's because it is heavy. There is, of course, a huge Achilles heel, and that is fuel economy. What does Zeman Roney say?
Yeah, so according to the EPA, you will average 13 city, 15 combined, 18 highway.
It's a big, heavy truck.
Right.
What do you think of the interior design?
Well,
Lexus has really tried to become much more passionate. You think they succeeded?
You know, it's kind of an interesting mix of new and kind of old Lexus in some ways.
Yep.
So the steering wheel to me screams new Lexus. It's very curvaceous, and they really did try to make this interior curvaceous, but it's still very upright. We still have a row of buttons right here. If you compare this to its competition, think Range Rover, I think that the interior design is not quite as good as those vehicles. Yeah, we do have this wood, which is a little bit old school, but it's just very upright. It's very linear.
You know what? As much as I ding the Land Cruiser for being kind of stodgy and old school, I kind of like this. I think it's kind of very, let's call it butch. It's very butch. It's a very masculine car, both from the inside and on the outside. And it speaks to me. And it could be because I'm obviously a lot older, right? This is not a car that somebody in college is going to be buying. But it is a car that somebody my age who has been successful and who has had, let's say, a lot of cars in their lives will appreciate. I gotta tell you, I'm a big fan of split tailgates. especially if they're electric. Check this out. Look at that. You don't have to open up the whole thing to get at your stuff. And best of all, with a little bit of effort, ooh, look at that. You can go tailgating. Yes. And of course it makes for a big opening, so if you have a lot of stuff or kiddos or pets, it's easy to get in and out. And of course, this being a Lexus, everything in here is electric, so I don't have to strain my arm to have this open and close. It just does it, well, it does it electrically, you know that.
This is essentially, this platform is quite old, yep. And granted it has been very updated recently.
Yes.
But that's exactly my issue with it, is it feels like it's trying to mask what it truly is, which is a little bit old in the tooth, or a little bit long in the tooth.
All right, I'm gonna put it in sport mode, dude.
Yeah.
I've got it in sport here. I'm gonna use my little paddle shifters. I think I have 7 or 8 speeds. How many speeds?
This is an 8-speed sequential shift automatic.
Right. Let's see how it does carving corners. We don't have a turbo to get in the way of the driving experience. This is just...
get in the way of the driving.
Exactly. There's no turbo lag. This is instantaneous. I am flogging this bad boy around. Oh my. It is not wallowing, but it is certainly pushing. You can feel the weight of this thing going around these bends.
We do have electronically controlled shock absorbers and stabilizer bar front and rear.
Oh boy, this is going to be interesting. Hold on. This is going to be a little tough. Yes, yeah. A little tough. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh, there was a little bit of back end that came around there. Just a little bit. Oh, you
sounds
can hear
good.
that. Yeah, that truck
does
engine,
sound good.
that V8 is really pushing. But the weight, oh my gosh, you can really feel that weight. Oh yeah, there we go.
That's good.
All right, I think we've pushed it far enough. All right, let's put it back into normal mode. Let's let it settle down a little bit. Let me take it out of sport mode. And let me use it the way most people use it, which is just to go on vacation, go to work. And when it's much more of a relaxed driving experience, then I think this is a lot more in its element.
And yeah, it is very comfortable in here. The seats are very cushy. I could definitely see taking a road trip in this.
Oh yeah. It adjusts like 1,300 different ways.
Right.
I've got a really cool heads-up display, which right now I have a compass on, so it's telling me which way I'm going. You know, it's doesn't have a panoramic sunroof, and that's because it hasn't been completely updated. I bet you the next gen will have a panoramic sunroof.
Sure.
It does have that V8 narrow.
Yeah, it sounds
narrow?
good.
That's not the word.
Growl?
Growl. Why am I saying gnarl? It's like gnarled wood. It does have that V8 growl, which is really fun. So, given the fact that this is almost $100,000,
yep.
And the fact that you probably cannot go off-road with this and not do some serious and expensive damage, would you get this over the competition? Would you get this instead of, let's say, a Range Rover or an Escalade or maybe one of the other very expensive truck-based well, it's not a crossover, SUVs?
Well, my thing with this segment is each vehicle needs to bring something to the table. So in my opinion, Range Rover brings sport, they bring design.
Yes.
Escalade also brings design, but they also bring a kind of, you know, flamboyancy. There's a little bit of showing off there.
Sure.
And that works for this segment. The Lexus, it does bring reliability.
Heck yeah.
And that is a big selling feature, and I do appreciate that. But if I'm gonna get this vehicle, I would just save the money and get a Land Cruiser. I don't think it's a lot less unluxurious.
So yeah, I like this truck a lot. Would I spend $97,000 on it? Oh, that's a lot of money, dude. That's a lot of money. But in the segment, it makes me happy. Puts a smile on my face, and there's a lot to be said for that. As always, this has been Roman
and Tommy
doing a brand new TFL Buddy review, saying check out TFLtruck.com for more news, views,
and real world reviews.
And of course, don't forget to click over here for that Land Cruiser review that we mentioned in this Buddy review. See you guys next time. Ciao.
Bye.